So today we're talking about email marketing and specifically how to nurture relationships with your yoga students through email marketing. You need to have an email list. If you are growing an online community, if you are growing your business online, you need an email list, guys. Like, it's as simple as that. Don't delay this anymore, okay? Don't delay it anymore. So I want you just to imagine something for a moment, okay? So just close your eyes. Imagine that you have an email list of 500 people, okay? These are people who have signed up for your freebie. So they've gone onto your website, they've seen that you have an amazing freebie that really speaks to them because you've done the work on the niche that you are serving. You've done that piece of work, okay? It's another topic. I've talked about it many times. You've done that piece of work. You know exactly what your people need. You've created this freebie. They've come onto your website. They've seen it. They've said, wow, I need that. They've given you their email address. And now they're on your email list and they've gone through an automated email sequence of maybe 5 or 6 emails that have been sent out over a couple of weeks. Okay, are you still visualizing and imagining this? Make sure you have your eyes closed and just connect to what I'm sharing with you right now. Some of those people have enrolled onto your evergreen course, okay, as a result of one of those emails in the sequence. That's money coming in whilst you sleep, okay? They now receive your weekly emails, okay? Some weeks you send 2 emails out. They know, like, and trust you. Sometimes you get an email back, okay? They reply back. They ask you about your online course or they ask you about your membership, okay? You continue a back and forth via email and they end up buying. When you launch something new, these are the people on your email list who book. You start to realize that the money is in your list. Yeah, your email list becomes your greatest marketing asset. You work hard to keep creating content that you can share to your list each week, and you really focus on nurturing your list because you know that that's where the sales are coming from. Open your eyes. How does that feel? How does it feel? Like, this is the reality in my business, and it's the reality of many of the students inside our programs, right? The Profitable Yoga Teacher, the Visionary Mastermind. It can be your reality too, but it really starts with you having a freebie, okay? And I've done previous trainings, podcast episodes, focusing on, how to create your freebie, how to grow your list. So just go and check those out. But today, I really want to just talk about what happens beyond that. Because, what we don't want to do is share our freebie via email and then just call it a day, right? That's something that we don't want to do. That's a real missed opportunity. We need to be intentional about the follow-up and how we really nurture those relationships that we have with our subscribers. Nurturing really is a process of building a relationship with your audience and educating them on how you can solve their problems, right? And this is important because your business exists not just to serve your students and to create impact in their lives, but also to make sales so that you can continue doing what you're doing. You don't have to go back to your 9-to-5 job. You can still be this yoga business owner that's, creating a business that actually makes money. And so if you're only focusing on growing your community, okay, you're just focusing on how can I get new people in my community, and you're forgetting about nurturing the relationships with the people in your community, you're going to struggle to make sales. We need to be working on how we retain people. Yeah, retention strategies. Yeah, how do we retain people within our community? And this nurturing, it creates trust. We need trust to create sales. Yeah, people aren't going to buy from you unless they trust you. And the other really important thing here is that most people aren't ready to buy from the get-go. There's a decision-making process, and this is actually a lot longer than it used to be, right? People are taking way more time. They're taking, a lot longer to make decisions. And the reason for that is because, we're bombarded by messaging, aren't we? We're bombarded by marketing and sales messaging all day long, right? No matter what platform you go on, you're bombarded with so many messages. And the other thing is that our lives are busier, and so we need extra time to actually digest information. So this is why your email list is so key, because you have your people in a list and you have a direct way to contact them. Okay, you can keep following up, you can keep offering content, the content that you're creating every week. Those of you who are students in my programs, you know this, how important this is. And you can continue to keep building the relationship through email. The other thing to say here is that, people's behavior, okay, as in consumers, is also changing rapidly. So, your potential ideal students are way more savvier than they used to be. They're also more intentional about the type of content that they are consuming, okay? The podcasts they're listening to, the social media accounts they're following, the blog posts they're reading, they're more intentional. We are time poor. We don't have that much time to do everything in our lives these days. So we have to become more intentional about where we want to spend our time and how we want to spend it. So, the great thing about this, and this is in relation to what I've just shared there, the great thing here is that if somebody goes onto your website and signs up, so they literally fill out the form and give you their email address, okay, this like sacred online virtual asset, they've intentionally requested your freebie, right? They have been so intentional in doing that. It's not just like, maybe they've just stumbled across your account on social media, like they see that their friend follows you and they think, oh, let's give it a follow. It's kind of different, isn't it? Actually filling out a form and giving someone your email address, you're giving them permission to send emails into this sacred online virtual space that is their inbox. And so because of that, your emails, they've decided they want to consume your emails. Yeah, your emails are super important to them. So, if you don't send the emails because you're too scared to send them, or, you're scared that you're going to annoy someone by sending them emails, it's defeating the object, isn't it? It's not serving the person who has literally put their hand up and asked you, they've requested that you serve them via email. So I hear this all the time. Teachers say, oh yeah, I don't want to annoy anyone. I don't want to annoy my subscribers. It's really doing them a disservice if you don't send the emails, and you're doing yourself a disservice as well. So, email marketing as a strategy in your marketing toolbox, it is highly effective, okay? It has the biggest return on investment in terms of money coming in, in relation to the time and the effort that it actually takes to create an email sequence, let's say. You can be super personalized. Yeah, you can really dial in on the specific person that you're sending an email to. And that's a really great way to increase engagement, but not only that, to increase your conversions, i.e. to turn someone, from someone who's just an engaged person in your community to a student, to a paying student. You move from that potentiality to an actual person paying you money to come into your programs. Half the time, you might feel like you're putting stuff out there and not getting any traction, or it's quiet. What I kind of laid out to you is really that engagement, isn't it? It's really that interaction, and it's a result of you building the relationship, and actually taking the time to build the relationship. So one of the easiest ways to nurture your subscribers is to create an automated email sequence. So when someone signs up for your freebie, they're automatically placed into a sequence of emails that are delivered automatically over a specific period of time. Do you have this already, guys? Tell me in the chat. So let's say your freebie is like a 3-part video series. Okay, so automatically they get video 1 straight away when they fill out the form. Video 1 is delivered into their inbox. The following day they get video 2. The day after that they get video 3. It doesn't have to stop there, does it? It doesn't have to stop there. Like, what other emails could be tagged on to that sequence? So for example, you could share a follow-up email to ask them how they got on with the video series. Yeah, ask them to reply back with their results. How do they feel now they've gone through those videos? What did they get out of it? What were their wins? What were their results? You could send an email with some additional content for them to consume, right? That's relevant to the video series that they have received. So maybe you've got a blog post about that topic. Maybe you've got a podcast episode that's relevant and specific on that topic, okay? That was kind of shared through the video series. This is why niching is so important, because you need to know what your topics are. Right? You need to know what your areas of, expertise are that you can then create content on in different ways. And then you then have lots of content. You've got a content bank that you can literally dig into and share in different ways. If you create a new freebie, okay, so maybe you've got, I don't know, a checklist or something could be a content upgrade on one of your blog posts. Or maybe it's some kind of planner where they can log their progress, to help to motivate them. You could share an email that's, sharing a case study of a student that you've worked with even. There's many things that you could share. And perhaps there's a survey, okay? So you could share an email with a survey, a link to a survey that's asking them, what is their greatest challenge right now? So use this as an opportunity to collect data about your new subscriber that's going through this email sequence. And, don't forget to share your offerings with them. This is a fantastic way to start selling some of your offerings. And even if you don't have an online course yet, but maybe you've got a subscription to your online classes. Maybe you've got a membership, a monthly membership. Perhaps you are offering, monthly workshops or something like that, or you've got replays from workshops. Whatever you've got, can you can you weave that messaging in about your paid offerings? So for example, let's say in that email that you share about one of your students' successes, okay? So you're sharing a story about one of your students who has maybe gone through a workshop series with you, and you can say, hey, the next workshop series is coming up, here's the link, or here's the link to the wait list to my upcoming course. So there's many ways that you can kind of weave in the sales messaging without it being a standalone promotional email. That's not to say you shouldn't include that. Okay, but what this isn't is an email sequence that is just buy. That's not what we're doing. We're using this email sequence to build trust, okay? And building trust requires being helpful, sharing stories. It requires you providing new content, letting them know that they're first to receive this content, making them feel like a VIP, right? You'll see there's many emails you could automate within this, sequence that will allow you to deliver that additional value and that educational content that's going to really help them to take action. You want that content to really be related to the first freebie that they requested. Yeah, so really try to keep it on topic. Yeah, keep it on topic. If you've got a few different freebies, there could be, let's say you've got 3 different freebies, there could be a few emails to begin with, right? And then, for each of those freebies, and then everybody gets funneled into the same email sequence. Okay, so that's another way you can do it. If you've got offerings, as I said, you want to make sure that you're talking about your offerings and giving people opportunities to buy. Yeah, that's when you do start, making sales whilst you sleep. That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Is to have this kind of, this evergreen, right? This evergreen sales funnel. People obviously talk about passive income. I'm always a bit wary of the word passive because you still need to keep showing up every week, showing your face, creating new content. It's not really passive, is it? There's still work to be done to feed your funnel and to, nurture your people. You might set up a sales email sequence and not get any sales, right? So there's work to be done to actually optimize that evergreen sales funnel. This is specifically something that we teach inside the Visionary Mastermind, okay? This is more advanced, further along the line. You really need to be launching live multiple times. That's the Profitable Yoga Teacher. If you want to learn how to do that, you need to get your name on the wait list. The next group will start in September. But sometimes we are looking at the bright lights of the evergreen sale funnel. We hear people talking about it. We hear about passive income. There's work to be done, guys, in order to get there. That's important. What you can do now is start to look at your freebie and the follow-up email sequence. And if you do have some paid offerings, look at how you can start to seed them in that email sequence, okay? It takes work, it takes time, it takes strategy to really get this evergreen sales funnel machine working efficiently, right? It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of strategy in order to do that. So don't jump ahead, little by little take action. And what I'm sharing with you today is really a great way where you can take action based on having freebies, right? Based on having one freebie. Create one freebie and have one follow-up automated email sequence with the goal to nurture. Yeah, to be super helpful, to build trust, to offer more content, to gain feedback, all of that good stuff. And then, once you've got that in place, you test it, right? You start looking at the data. You start looking, okay, which emails in my email sequence are people actually clicking on? Which ones are not being clicked on? Do I need to change the subject line? Yeah, you can test the period of which the emails are being sent over. Maybe you kind of send them out in a shorter time period. You test that out. Then you send it out in a longer time period. You test that out. You can start being very data driven, right? You can start being data driven in your business. And again, this is something that is definitely an area that we look at in the Visionary Mastermind, right? We look at how you can become more data driven in order to increase your conversions and increase your sales, okay? It's really about scaling a business that's already working, that's already bringing sales in. How can you make it better? Segmentation, right? So this is another thing, looking at how you can segment your list. And by that I mean using tags, okay? So those of you who already have your email marketing software in place, if you're using MailerLite, I mentioned earlier, or ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, whatever it is, you use tags, okay? So if someone signs up for a specific freebie, they get tagged with that freebie. Let's say it's a meditation series. They get tagged with meditation, okay? If they have, signed up for masterclasses or challenges, or they've been in some of your, online offerings already, they get tagged with these things. And you start to build up a picture of each subscriber. You can use that information to send really relevant emails in the future. And in this way, your email marketing isn't just a blanket email that goes out to everyone on your list. You actually become very specific with who you're sending those emails out to based on, previous behavior, how they've interacted with you in the past. And this is important because it actually helps you to increase your conversions when you do that. Your click-through rate, all of these metrics that are important start to improve. Yeah, so we've talked about an automated email sequence. I would love for all of you to focus on this, get this set up and start to look at how you can build out this email sequence to nurture your subscribers and to really build that, trust. It's so essential for creating sales. And the last thing I want to mention is that look at how when you're sending your emails out, and this isn't just in a email sequence, but can be the weekly emails that you send out, start to look at how you can make your emails more conversational, right? So there's a really big trend right now with email marketing, and it's, it's actually making your email more social, right? Making your email more social. How can you make your email more social? One of the ways of doing that is simply asking a question and asking them to reply back, and just seeing how you can encourage that behavior to reply back. We've really been focusing on that in the last, in the last 6 months, actually. I'd say we've been really focusing on that, but definitely since the beginning of this year, with all the masterclasses that we ran and the challenge, and having those conversations in email is actually, a really great way to nurture towards a sale, okay, and to have that that back and forth. That back and forth. Just experiment with how you ask. So experiment with different questions. You have to test these things out. It's not always going to work every single time, right? It's not always going to work. What I would suggest here is the more you can encourage this behavior from the very beginning, the better. This is why, having something like a 3-part video series as a freebie is really great, because you're sending 3 emails out consecutively, and that person has literally just given you their email address, right? So they are really engaged at that point. They're really engaged. And so they're getting an email 3 days in a row. And what you're doing is you're encouraging that behavior to open the email. Okay, so now when they see your emails in the future, there's already some behavior that's being created, and they're more likely to open the emails in the future. So use those 3 emails to ask questions and ask them to reply back to start to create that behavior from the get-go. Okay, good tip for you there. Okay, guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you now. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you are a teacher who has already launched an online course or a membership, and you're already doing really well in your business and you know that you need support to get to the next level, please reach out to me personally. We are running the Visionary Mastermind again from the end of May. Love to support you. It is a small elite group of yoga business owners who, as I said, already thriving and want to really take their business to a new level and scale what they're doing. So we have this mastermind program for you. If this is speaking to you, if this is calling you, please send me a message and let's chat. Okay, sending you lots of love, and I'll see you again this week sometime. Look out for that. Okay, take care. Bye bye.